Hi there, this is Alfie Whattam, London's tech recruiter and the host of the London Technology Podcast. Today I'm joined by Dragos. Thanks for joining us. Could you start by just telling us a little bit about yourself?
Thank you for having me, Alfie. So my name is Dragos. I'm the current head of software development, business operations and integration at a company called Telepliant. I've been in IT for over 17 years now, freelance and full-time. I worked in companies like Amazon for 5 years, Oracle, startup industry, had my own startups as well. So I like technology. I like to basically be disruptive rather than follow in footsteps. And as a person, I like to disconnect from technology, I guess, just to unwind and gather, energy from outside work.
Awesome. So 17 years, give or take, in the industry. A lot of people that watch these videos are pretty much brand new to the industry. Have you got any advice for people that are just starting their tech careers?
I think it's very important to figure out at the beginning, right, what you like to do and what you're good at. It's people taking chances as well and trying different things out. It's never easy, everybody wants to be a astronaut or a doctor when they're young. And when you get to college and afterwards you can make mistakes, that's allowed. The important thing is to fail fast and to just pick yourself up and be relentless, just to persist in what you're chasing and go for it. Invest in yourself, do courses, talk to people, find a mentor or more. There's no one way to success. There's no one solution in IT. There's no just a highway. There's different ways to get wherever you want to go. And it's up to you to find your way. And especially it's important to enjoy the journey.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree with what you mentioned around mentors, for example. If you can find somebody that early in your career can give you, their experiences and the challenges that they've gone through and how they dealt with those, then obviously that can have a big impact on reducing the learning curve, right? Because you already learn what to do in certain situations and that sort of thing.
It's the same as having a startup. It's very important you go, for a mentor rather than funding, rather than just, I have an idea, I need money. It's very hard to access that. It's very important you find a mentor, and you will find actually, more senior people with access to funding that if they see, for example, you have a flawed business plan, you adapt, you fix it really fast, you are manageable and you can be molded from their experience, you absorb like a sponge everything. You'll find that very good, and especially if you're young, that's one of the qualities people look for. Very, adaptable. Especially nowadays, you have to be. But the more you are, you can mold yourself. You can adapt very quick. You're quick on your feet. You're a fast learner, fast thinker. That is an improvement. And just talk less, listen more, I guess.
Yeah, that's what it comes down to, I suppose. It's a good point about startups as well. I see so many startups that raise a ton of money and then they, for whatever reason, blow it. And a lot of the time it's because they don't have the right, mentors, the right advice, the right people guiding them on that journey. So it's a good point. You need the money, but you also need the, the know-how in the startup game.
It is very important because at least before all the COVID happened, raising funds was easier, but also burning cash. And the problem with, I've seen companies scale up a couple of times and then scale down because they couldn't manage the funding. They didn't have a proper MVP, a minimum viable product. You're unsustainable financially. You don't bring enough revenue to sustain yourself. And when you're over expanding without that product, you don't have a market ready, you don't have a best customer what you're targeting, you just end up burning investors cash, and that just makes a myriad of startups pop up and die out like shooting stars, right? So it's very good for you as experience to draw as much as you can from senior people that you want to follow, ask questions, learn from their experience, even bounce an idea. Even if you know you're right, it's always good to validate ideas. And regardless if it's just work, regardless if it's your own startup and you want to be an entrepreneur, regardless if you're just facing a dilemma and you don't have anything better than flipping a coin. So it's always good to have somebody you can access, or more panels for that matter.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, looking into the future, are there any technologies or tools that you're passionate about, which you think will have a big impact on the future? I see you've got a robot behind you. Robotics might be one of them, with AI and capturing the universe in your hand. But what are you thinking of when I say cutting edge tech? What comes to mind?
I think the best is, like you said, AI with the robot behind me, and machine learning. It's always been my focus for over, I don't know, 10, 15 years. And nowadays, every company needs or has a data science department, a business analysis, especially if this is the new norm, working from home, very remote access, social distancing. Companies need to have a simple process, regardless if it's a sales process, a technology process, building software, a product that is very easy to scale up and automate. Because you want to scale up with minimum cost. That means less people, more automation, more machine learning, more data. You need product studies, you need metrics, you need KPIs. The only way to have that is have proper, business analysis functions, and or at least have a good idea that you can, try and extrapolate a bit of research and see if it works. You need to chase people, engage with them as well. It's no longer 50, 100 years ago, well, not 100 or 50 years ago, you would have the milkman, you have the postman, you would meet face to face, you would know all your kids, you'd know you as a customer, this door-to-door salesman. It moved more to the technical. But what I see is you cannot remove everything and just replace it with a robot. You still have that human connection. You need to have a personal touch, an approach. Your brand, your product needs to engage with the actual customer, not feeling that you have chatbots and automated replies and voice messages and press one for this, press two for that. You need sometimes to converse about the problem or feedback, or just to feel that you're not talking with a robot, because you're invested in a brand. It's more of a connection nowadays for customers as well. So anything you like to do, it has to be a mixture of both, and it has to be very scalable and very efficient.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Dragos, for your time to get your ideas and insights. It was really useful. Thanks very much for taking the time to do this. And once again, thank you to everybody for watching as well.
Thank you.